Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We are going to start today's lecture, and the title of today's lecture is Bio-Inspired Nanotechnology. So, first of all, we have to understand what is inspiration, how we are getting inspired from nature. So, living in nature, we are inspired by many natural processes, natural systems, or natural materials. And this inspiration makes us able to understand the phenomena, and this inspiration makes us able to apply these natural processes in order to synthesize some artificial materials for our own benefits. So this means that right from the start of mankind, the mankind was able to be inspired from nature. The mankind is getting inspiration from nature. So as an example, you see today's aircrafts, today's aeroplanes, their design and efficiency is largely dependent on the inspiration that has been taken from the behavior of the animals, right? And in a similar fashion, you see that if you look at the plant systems, the plant leaves are a complete system. The plant leaves are able to capture the sunlight, and they are able to convert this sunlight into the chemical energy. So the process behind this is called as photosynthesis, right? So this means that plant leaves are a complete system. So we can understand this complete system of plant leaves, and we can try to manufacture, we can try to synthesize such systems artificially in order to capture the energy. In a similar fashion, you see the viral capsids. Capsids are the viral proteins that are enclosing their genetic material, DNA or RNA, right? So what happens that viral capsid is a complete system. Until or unless this complete system is not synthesized, these viruses are not able to attack, and they are not able to transmit their genes into the hosts. So this means viral capsids are the complete system. We can also manufacture artificial systems by using materials that can function exactly like the viral capsids. So this is what is green. This is what is bio-inspired nanotechnology. This means that in bio-inspired nanotechnology, we are getting inspiration from nature. We are continuously getting inspiration from the processes, from the materials that nature use in order to take various functions, and we try to artificially manufacture. We try to artificially synthesize these systems, these processes, by using various materials for our own benefits. This is bio-inspired nanotechnology. Now, if you go to the definition of bio-inspired nanotechnology, we could define bio-inspired nanotechnology as the investigation of the formation, structure, or function of the biologically produced substances and materials such as enzymes or silk, and biological mechanisms and processes, for example, protein synthesis or photosynthesis, especially for the purpose of synthesizing similar products by nanotechnology principles, by using the nanotechnology principles that could mimic the natural ones. So this is the complete definition of bio-inspired nanotechnology. So in order to understand this, this is you can easily understand that in a similar fashion, like the enzymes work, in a similar fashion, like the process like photosynthesis works in nature, we try to manufacture, we try to synthesize these materials, or we try to synthesize these uh, uh, these these processes of the nature artificially by using the nanomaterials, uh, by using the nanotechnology principles. So what would ultimately happen that these artificial procedures or these artificial materials would then mimic the proteins synthesis, would then mimic the photosynthesis, or would then mimic any other natural process that is happening in nature. So this is bio-inspired nanotechnology. Then we have to understand a very minute difference that exists between biomimetics and bio-inspired. So these are two terms that are alternatively used: biomimetics and bio-inspired. So we have to understand the difference between these two terms. So first of all, we see that both of these terms, they can substitute one another. This means they could be used they could be used alternatively in place of one another. So sometimes we sometimes we use biomimetic instead of bio-inspired, and in a similar fashion, on in some other occasions, what we do, we use the term bio-inspired instead of biomimetic. So these are alternative terms, right? But there exists a very minute difference between, although the basic phenomena, although the basic principle of both biomimetic and bio-inspired is same. So both term implies that we are getting inspiration from the nature. We are mimicking the natural processes. So both terms have a same meaning, but there exists a very minute difference. We have to understand that difference. So what is the difference? Difference is biomimetics is direct mimicry of the natural processes, right? So whenever we are directly mimicking the natural processes, this is then called as biomimetic, right? So bio-inspired mean, so in some occasions, what we do, we are directly mimicking the natural processes, but sometimes we are indirectly making a mimicry of the natural process. So the term bio-inspired mean, whenever we are doing the mimicry of the natural processes or natural materials by direct procedures or by or indirectly, this means bio-inspired. So this means that bio-inspired is a little bit flexible term as compared to the biomimetic, although the ultimate meaning of both the terms is same. Sometimes whenever we are indirectly mimicking the natural processes, we mostly use the term bio-inspired. So if we are mimicking these natural processes by using the nanomaterials, then the term would be used as bio-inspired nanotechnology. And in a similar fashion, if we are mimicking the natural processes the by using the nanomaterials, then this is biomimetics nano, then those materials would be called as biomimetic nanomaterials, right? So although the meaning of the biomimetic is a bit broader, so sometimes we use larger materials in order to mimic the natural processes. Then those materials would not be the biomimetic nanomaterials. Those would be the larger materials. So this is the difference between these two terms, biomimetic and bio-inspired. So now we move forward. Now we are going to discuss about the applications of bio-inspired nanotechnology. So whenever we are using the nanomaterials by getting inspiration from nature, whenever we are mimicking the natural processes for our own benefits by using the nanomaterials, so this process would certainly be applied in various fields nowadays. So biomimetics or bio-inspired nanotechnology nowadays could be applied in a large number of fields. For example, robotics. So we can create the systems that would ultimately work as robots. So we can take, we can take a huge number of benefits. We can take a huge number of functions by using these robots. So whenever we use nanomaterials in robotics, so we can then apply the bio-inspired nanotechnology in the field of robotics. And in a similar fashion, we are also using the bio-inspired nanotechnology in catalysis. So we are catalyzing a huge number of chemical reactions by using these bio-inspired nanomaterials as catalysts. So this means we can enhance enhance the speed of many chemical reactions by using the bio-inspired nanomaterials as catalysts. So in a similar fashion, we are also using the term bio-inspired nanotechnology. We are also using the field, uh, uh, we are also using the bio-inspired nanotechnology in energy storage. So this means we are this is exactly similar as we have discussed in case of plant leaves. So the function of plant leaf is to convert the energy, is to store the energy. I mean, it is converting the chemical, it is converting the sunlight energy into the chemical energy. So this is a process of making food for the plants, uh, the process of photosynthesis. So in a similar fashion, we can artificially create the leaves, we can artificially create those systems, we can artificially create those assemblies that whose function is ultimately to store the energy. So this is a huge sector where we can use bio-inspired nanotechnology. And similarly, we can use bio-inspired nanomaterials in drug delivery. So you know that drug delivery is a very sensitive process, and we are using a huge number of materials. We are using a huge number of polymers in order to precisely deliver the drugs. So this is precise delivery of drugs is directly proportional to the efficient treatment of various diseases. So we are efficiently using the bio-inspired nanotechnology by studying various biological procedures, various biological processes in the delivery of drugs. And in a similar fashion, we can also use this bio-inspired nanotechnology in the remediation of pollutants. We can remediate various pollutants, various environmental pollutants, and a huge number of pollutants could exist in the environment, and they are creating huge losses. They are I mean, they are causing a huge trouble in the environment. So we can use this bio-inspired nanotechnology in order to remediate those pollutants. We can create such systems that can remediate the environmental pollutants. And then we have to understand the types of bio-inspired synthesis of nanomaterials. So there are two types of bio-inspired synthesis of nanomaterials. We can synthesize the bio-inspired nanomaterials in two ways. Number one, functional bio-inspired synthesis. So from the name, this is evident that this is functional bio-inspired. In functional bio-inspired synthesis, we try to synthesize those nanomaterials, we try to synthesize those nano assemblies, we try to synthesize those nanocomposites whose ultimate purpose is to function, whose ultimate function is to function exactly like the human organs. For example, the artificial organs. We can use various materials, we can use various nanomaterials in order to synthesize the artificial bones, so that for example, if a patient have lost its bones or there is a bone fracture, then we can use these artificial bones to be transplanted in those patients. So this would be then functional bio-inspired synthesis of the nanomaterials. And the uh, other type of bio-inspired synthesis of nanomaterials is the process bio-inspired synthesis. So this is the second type. So process bio-inspired synthesis mean whenever we are synthesizing the nanomaterials in order to mimic the methods of the natural processes, right? For example, naturally you see that microorganisms or the plants, they are synthesizing a huge number of they are synthesizing huge number of molecules, for example, proteins, lipids, polymers, so many other molecules these microorganisms and plants are able to synthesize. Then this means that when we are using the bio-inspired synthesis, when we are mimicking this kind of process of the plants or microorganisms in order to synthesize the natural materials, this type of bio-inspired nanotechnology would be the process bio-inspired synthesis, right? So this is process bio-inspired synthesis, and this process bio-inspired synthesis is very much closer to the green synthesis of the nanomaterials. Here we here we come very close to the green synthesis of the nanomaterials whenever we are synthesizing the natural products by using by using uh, the nanomaterials, by using the nanomaterials, and this is process bio-inspired synthesis, and this would be the second type of bio-inspired synthesis of nanomaterials. So I thank you very much. This is all about today's lecture. Now, if you have any question, you can ask, please.